But isn't that cool? Welcome back to Slow Lane K. This is the accessory video, all the cool stuff that I've so far done to this van. You may not think so, but I think so. In this video, we're going to work on a Gameboy speedometer. I've seen some come up for sale, but for the amount of money that they were asking for, I didn't feel that was a reasonable price, so let me make my own. So I went to Amazon and I ordered some of the pieces, and I'm going to show you how to make that speedometer, that Gameboy speedometer today. And then I'll go over a couple other fun things that I've done with the van that I felt that have made the driving experience a little bit better. So let's dive into the Gameboy. All right, so we've got the Gameboy Color. So this is a case to, I guess, to replace a Gameboy Color. I went ahead and went with the turquoise teal color. I thought that was a pretty cool color. I think it's going to pop a little bit. And then I've also got the speedometer here. It's a GPS speedometer. You can maybe see it later, but it's got your directions on top, speedometer at the bottom, and then I'll have it set up for miles per hour. Since the van is in kilometers per hour, I've got the charging cable here, and then the bracket that this sits in to mount on the window. So I did order these pieces from Amazon. I mean, all of it was way cheaper to put it together myself than to buy something like this. And full transparency, I have no idea what I'm doing here. So trial and error, I guess. So the idea is to mount this inside here, and then we'll put the little screen on top and the backing and all that good stuff. But we have to cut some pieces out because it's not going to fit on there. So let's get that figured out. I've got some double-sided tape. I've got my Dremel. So we'll see what to do. I'll be honest, I'm not too sure. So I got one of these, not quite a T-square, but I went ahead and made some marks to kind of show the center of where this should be sitting. So right there and right there, I don't know. So in the little kit, they give us these little screwdrivers. So I'll go ahead and use those. First off, let's go and take this back plate off that we won't need. All right, so we got this piece off. Get rid of that. So ultimately, we're going to be cutting into this back piece here to allow this to sit on there. All right, so since I made these marks here, we're going to put the back part on here and see if we can get those lined up. That looks about right. So down, over. So this is where we'll do our first drill. All right, for this one, I'm going to use a step drill here. We'll get that started, and then if we need to shape any other part of this, then we'll do that with the Dremel. Well, not big enough. I was worried that I was going to have to break through this little part right here, because that's getting real thin, but it looks like I will need to, so it is what it is. All right, so I made it through the hole here, and it's not big enough. So we're gonna have to make the hole bigger. All right, now looking at it, still not closing all the way because this part up here. So I'm gonna get that marked out and we'll get that cut out. Okay. Let's see if we can get that cut out. Well, that's not as smooth as I was hoping. I went a little too far. Whoops. And it just kind of melted the plastic. Not perfect, but let's see if this fits now. Okay, so that still doesn't fit. So we're gonna have to make an angle right here to kind of cut these back because there's a slope. I don't know if you can tell, but this how it has that angle right here. So we'll have to cut that down. Again, not perfect, but let's see if it fits. Like I said, I have really no idea what I'm actually doing. We'll get this mounted in here to find the exact spot here shortly. Okay, so that closes. Okay, so I didn't cut enough off the top here. So I'll need to go a little bit further up here, and then yeah, hopefully that'll be it. All right, so I've got a sanding bit on here now. It looks like these edges kind of need to be rounded out because it's still hitting right on these edges here. So I'll go ahead and do that. Looks pretty good to me. There's going to be a bit of pressure on these edges here. But let's go ahead and get this mounted in the right spot here. So first I'm going to try some super glue to see if that'll hold it there. Not too sure if that's the right move or not, but I also have some double-sided tape. Actually, maybe we'll start there. Okay, make sure you put this right side up. All right, so here it is. On the top, you can kind of see a little bit of the edge. I don't know if you can see that or not. Where the bottom is, you can't see any of that. I think once we put this on there, you're not gonna be able to really tell. So that's on there pretty good. So I'm good with leaving the tape on there. So let me clean up that tape. I am going to clean up these a little bit more of an angle here. I didn't botch it too bad. Alright, so on the back, now that I got all this mounted up, we need to make a hole for the power cable. I've gone ahead and marked a hole there where it's supposed to go. Just realized that that's not lined up correctly. So let's do it right. Good. Okay, so we have our hole. Make sure this fits. It does not. Okay. Well, let's shape it out a little bit. All right, so I've got a smaller bit here, and let's shape it a little bit. Well, that looks like that works. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger just in case I am slightly off on my guesstimate here. Making progress. Okay. All right, let's I guess start putting it back together now. Let's make sure this sits on. Yeah, I should have no problem there. Okay. Now we've got the Game Boy sticker to put on the back. So let's put this on, and then I'll flip it over, and then we're gonna have to cut out the part that I just cut out. Okay, so that's not great, but hey, it's the backside. Okay, so now we have to put the buttons in and put that screen on. Let's put that screen on first. Alright, so there's also a film on top that I'm pulling off. Okay, screen is on. Cool. Let's get these buttons put in. So on these buttons, they kind of guide you where they should go. Slot right in. And then we've got the backings to them. And then there's these little things that they tie on. Push those in. So then we have our buttons there, and then we have our start select. Then we have our selector here, I think. Oh, on off. Okay, so that's set there. I think that's everything. Let's put it on. So over here, I guess these buttons are supposed to come on the, I guess, inside the fitment of the Game Boy itself. So these are going to be open spaces here. All right, let's get these screws back in. We're done. All right, so let's get this on here. Cool, and then we're ready to go. That's mounted in there, so that'll just hang out on the dashboard like that. I'll probably have to adjust that. Then we have our power here. And then this is a USB, so it'll go into like your cigarette lighter. Get a little adapter for that. Cool. Well, let's get it installed. got the Game Boy installed. So now thinking about it, I went with the green LED. Probably should have gone with the white LED since there is that contrast of green and like teal. But nonetheless, I mean, it's pretty cool. I have it wired back around underneath and then into the outlet right there. All right, so besides the Game Boy that I just put in, I do have a little JBL speaker because my radio is not working. I don't know if it's the speakers, I don't know what it is, I haven't quite figured that out yet. So this is not working, so I have my JBL speaker. Next to the JBL speaker, I do have a phone mount that's suction cupped on there. So it moves like this. So I can go and play my Hall & Oates on my little JBL speaker. Pause that, or not. So I got my Hall & Oates, and then most importantly, I've got my Dashboard Jesus, which I think is fun to watch when I drive. And then another thing I added was a shifter knob. So I put a 2-inch extender on it, and I thought that's just a nice little touch. And then I do have the big old mirror that attaches to the other mirror. Not a necessity, but it's pretty cool to have because I can see full range. Then I've got my Little Tree Black Ice air freshener here. So I think we're all looking pretty good. So right now I've got some sun sitting on the display here and I can still read it. We'll see how that actually works out. I did test the GPS, or sorry, the speedometer before I put it into the Game Boy just to make sure it was calibrated correctly and everything worked correctly. So no longer have to rely on these. I guess a guesstimate of where I'm actually at in kilometers here. And then lastly, gotta have your YouTube and Instagram stickers on. So I've got one on the front. And then I've got the other on the back. All right, let's check it out and see how it works. So it looks like the speedometer is working pretty good. I don't know if you can tell. Sun's hitting it kind of weird here. But isn't that cool? Now I actually know how fast I'm going. So overall, I call that a success. That's pretty neat. So that's going to wrap up this video of the Game Boy speedometer and then kind of the overview of the other little small things that I've added in here. Pretty cool. I think it's a fun little ad. I'll make sure that you check the description for the links to Amazon for those products. I'm not affiliated with Amazon or anything like that, just so you could get those and make it yourself. Hopefully I was clear enough in this video so you can make one yourself. It's pretty cheap. It's a fun little accessory to have to show off at the car meets and whatnot. Please make sure you like this video and then subscribe for the channel. It helps these videos get a little bit further out there. I think it's a fun little thing. These videos come out every 2 weeks, so if you're interested, these videos are going to get a little bit funner. We're going to go do some activities with the van, so please subscribe. If you made it this far in the video, thumbs up to you. I really appreciate you watching this all the way through. All right, well, see you in 2 weeks.